What's good, family? And welcome to Enjoy the Journey. Yo, I want to say thank you so much to all of you who have been watching Enjoy the Journey. We are going to recap season one, all right? Episode one was with Deanna Dixon, the queen of setting platforms, and it was such an honor speaking with her and learning about her vision, learning about the community and all of the great things that she's been doing right in the city of Atlanta. Oh my God, it was so powerful because I remember when I was first starting to enjoy the journey, I remember the first person that I wanted to interview was Deanna Dixon because I knew of the great things she was doing. We are from the same hometown. Like, who knew that? Well, we found that out in the episode. But this moment right here was very special to me. And let's just sit back and watch it.
And I built something brand new that I was able to create off of the freedom and the pressure of chasing the next high or the next opportunity. Like, I wasn't in the ring anymore of like, oh, what's my next gig? So I was able to be creative. So if you are in that space where you are having to hustle and you're taking on jobs that don't necessarily align with your overall dream, that's actually going to be the best part of your story one day. That's going to be your ministry. That is your testimony. And now seeing how he placed that so perfectly to open bigger doors for me to even like really enlarge my territory, enlarge my audience, because there's people that you will connect to through vulnerability than you want, that you would not be able to connect to because you're being celebrated all the time.
Ooh, so our vulnerability is actually like a superpower.
Oh yes, it is. It is the gift. It is a gift that keeps on giving, and if you allow yourself just to really be free and rest, like I always tell people, this is my favorite thing to say, is like, you're right where you're supposed to be. So if you can embrace that, like right now you're doing DoorDash and this is right where I'm supposed to be, then that means there's something in that season that's going to serve a greater purpose. So do it, and do it with your whole heart.
Wow. Oh my God. What a powerful moment with Deanna. Oh my God. Type in the chat. Let me know your thoughts. What did you feel? How are you inspired? Come on, let's talk about it, y'all. For me, that moment was so crucial. One thing that I loved about that moment with Deanna is how she went from nothing all the way to a community leader. So she talked to us about how she was an Uber driver, just trying to make it as a single mother, just trying to make it in this industry. And those of us who are creatives, we know the challenges that carry. And she was able, as a single mom, not only to raise her daughter by herself, but as she talked about, going to LA and coming to Atlanta, she came to Atlanta with nothing, and she's had a vision that she started this whole organization with that is now impacting hundreds and hundreds of creatives. The reason that is so special to me, personally, I came to Atlanta with nothing. I literally drove here on faith in my car and my clothes in the back seat. And I had a vision and I had a dream of how I could do life with people and how I can expand my reach and encourage the world, from what I was going through, to be able to have a platform like this right here of Enjoy the Journey, where we can talk about our experiences and how we overcame them. If you have a dream, a goal, a vision, birth it out in spite of the pain, in spite of the turmoil, the challenges that come with it. Stick with it, stay committed to it, and you will see the fruit of your reward. Yo, we had a chance to sit down with Brittany McDuffie West. Oh my God. Brittany is an educator. She is a dance teacher. She's a theater teacher. And we had a chance to sit down and speak with her about her journey as a creative. One thing I loved about this episode is her humanity. Brittany has such a strong humanity that many of you resonated with. And so I know a lot of y'all have loved this episode, sitting and talking with her about her creative endeavors and about how she built herself as a creative. So let's go back and let's watch a little episode.
Well, first I make a safe space for them.
Yeah.
I always start with, when I got to my current school that you and I both work at, I had one Black boy.
Wow.
in the program. So students would want to come into the theater and just kind of hang out. And so what I started telling my students was, I don't mind if you're in this space, but I need to know that you're here in this space.
Yeah, that's good.
So I can keep you safe. So they would come in and just watch what we do. And then they started coming, instead of sitting at the back of the theater, they would come and stand at the front of the theater with me. Hey, how you doing? And, you give me a little hug. Just wanted to be engulfed,
Yeah.
involved in. So I first created a safe space for them to be able to come to and feel okay. I can be here. Because a lot of what happens sometimes is in the theater, people are told, no, you can't be in here. You can't. This is just for theater. This is just for me. This is, just for a performance. And that's not the case.
Yeah.
So creating the safe space for them and then asking what they like to do. Typically, with high school Black boys, we start them out in technical theater. So they get to run the light board, run the sound board. I teach them how to stage manage. I teach them how to be backstage crew members. What little I do with set design, I teach them how to do that, or I bring someone in to do that with them. So they can see from backstage, they have a different perspective of what the show looks like from backstage. Wow. So from my first production at this current school, they were all backstage. The next year they were like, oh, we want to be in the show. We can do this.
I love that.
Yeah. So then okay, come on, let's do it. And then finding roles not only that fit them, but finding roles that they can evolve in.
Wow, wow, wow. Oh my God. That episode with Brittany, mind-boggling. And the thing I loved about Brittany's episode that really touched me is how she went from an educator to now being able to use her gift to spread love to Black children, Black boys and Black girls. She just talked to us about how she started this dance program outside of a show that she was doing when she was on The Lion King. And when she did The Lion King, how she had the Black boys that just enjoyed that experience so much that they became a part of her dance class. And she was able to now use what was in her to now better youth. And I think that is so key. Honestly, a lot of you know, I used to be an educator. I was educating children for 10 years. And so I have a special place in my heart for youth. If anybody that knows anything about Devontae Lamont, you know that I love the kids. I love the kids. I love your kids. I love your kids. Yes, I do. All right. But as an educator, it was just an amazing experience to, and I educated in the vein of arts. So to sit down with another educator and that has the same vision as you, it was really encouraging to see how you can take what you've been through, what you've overcome, and use that to inspire somebody else and particularly inspire the next generation. This is what Brittany has done, taking that program, teaching those Black boys, and now creating a whole program where even to this day, she is still educating youth. She is still inspiring youth. The takeaway from that I hope that we gain as an audience is whatever the thing that you're passionate about, the gifting that God has given you, if you use that to your greatest ability, continue to pour into it, that now becomes a tool. It becomes a tool for you to help the next generation. This is what Brittany has done. She took every gift, the dancing, the teaching, the theater, all the things who she is. And let me say something to that really fast. I really feel led to say this. We are more than just one thing. Oh my God, this just came to me. Oh y'all, let's have a chat. Let's have a chat. We are more than just one thing. A lot of times, I really struggle with this. People be like, "Well, what do you do? You know, I do." I'm not just one thing. I'm not just a singer. I'm not just a dancer. I'm not just a talk show host. I'm not just in the film and TV industry. I am a creative, and that encompasses everything I do. And so, what I want you to learn from that is that our purpose is many things, and my mission and my purpose stays the same. But the way we do the reach can be many things. You might be good at cooking, And in a season, God might be using you to use that gift of cooking to heal people through your food. You may be a creative and you act. Okay, so maybe in this season he used you to act, but in the next season it's dance. But the the whole thing is that long as it ties to your purpose, don't allow people to box you in. I'm gonna say that for the people in the back. Don't allow people to box you in. Type it in the chat. Don't allow nobody to box you in. Come on, spread it all in the chat. Come on, just don't. Because there are so many things that God has gifted you with. And that's what we learned from Brittany, that whatever you're called to do, we take that and we use it for the next generation. Woo! Powerful episode. Powerful episode. And thank you to all of y'all who loved and supported that episode. That was one of our first ones that we released, and the response from y'all was just so amazing. So take that. Let's run on. All right, next episode. Who's next? Bryant. Bryant is next. Bryant. Okay, so this one is so fun. For those of you who are into the fashion world, or you love to dress, or you're into just looking your best every day, y'all, we had a chance in season one to sit down with stylist Bryant Stokes. Okay, this one is so fun for me. For those of you who are into the fashion world that like to dress good, look good, smell good, keep your vibe fresh, we had an opportunity to sit down with the Bryant Stokes, who is a stylist in the Atlanta area. He is a fashion designer with Fifth and Howard, and we had a chance to talk to him in season one right here at Enjoy the Journey. Let's take a look at that.
As I began to style people more and more, of course, you do different things. Like there are different lanes in terms of styling. Everything is not going to be like a personal shopping or like a commercial photo shoot or like portraits. Some things are going to be editorial. And when you research that, there, of course, you'll find there are many different lanes. But as I began to style people, I was like, there are things that I have taken note of that I use every time I style. Like there are things, and so this is what there's 5 pillars. It's
Wow.
Color, texture, accessories, theme, and then what is the last one? I have it written down. Fit, color, accessories, textures, and theme. Like those are all the 5 pillars, and I use it every time I style someone. And so it's just
Wow.
like things that I think about as I try to choose their garments. And so
How do those 5 pillars, or what is it specific about the 5 pillars in your book that helps you to style clients?
well, everyone has great style. Let's start off there.
Okay.
I think the majority of people need a lot of fine tuning.
Explain.
Yes,
Because
we were talking about this earlier. I think everyone has things that they are comfortable with
Absolutely.
innately. Like they just love. There are some people who love really big, oversized sweaters. Okay, that is great. Love that. But as a stylist or someone you would hire to take your style to the next level, it becomes my job to help you fine tune what you already like.
Absolutely.
If you like oversized sweaters, how can I develop sort of a image or a persona that that gives you that extra umph with the thing that you already love? And so I've encountered there are lots of stylists who have great personal style, and they'll try to put that onto their client. It is not my job to make you look like me. It's my job to make you look like you, just a better version of you.
Wow.
And so if you buy the book or you purchase the book or whatever, in the book I talk about of course all of those 5 pillars, and I want to give people a frame of reference for what does this look like. So if I'm going to talk about color or color theory, in each chapter I have visuals. So the book is full color. It's full color because there are visuals. Full color. I talk about certain runway shows chose to illustrate to you what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I want you to understand when it turns to color, what does a monochrome outfit look like? How can I exaggerate patterns in prints? How can I add in fur or leather to something that I'm already doing to make my outfit just a little bit better? And so that was the whole purpose of the book. Is I just wanted to provide sort of an educational tool. Whether people hire me as a stylist or not, you can buy the book, you know, and hold on to it and help your personal style.
That's so amazing because we can't call Brian every day.
I freaking loved that conversation. Oh my God. Let's go back to talking with Bryant. Bryant was just a joy from the time when he came in the studio. We were just like, he has so much energy. And one thing that was special behind the scenes with Bryant, before we recorded the episode, I think that was one of our first tapings. He came into the studio and he prayed with us. And that was just so incredible because we got a chance to see his heart and his character. So shout out to you, Brian Stokes, for your heart and passion for prayer and covering Enjoy the Journey. We definitely appreciate you here at the Enjoy the Journey Studios. We appreciate you so much. But I think the biggest takeaway from me with Bryant was how fashion is honestly a key part of who we are as individuals, our personalities, the things we like, the things that we dislike. He gave us a wide range of how we can take our everyday look and make it editorial. I think that is so key because if we think about just us as human beings. I'm not talking about us who have made it to Hollywood. And shout out to all y'all who got y'all personal stylists. I want a personal stylist, so if you want to style me, feel free. Email us at enjoythejourshow@gmail.com. Oh yes, I'm looking for a stylist. Amen. Praise the Lord. But we're gonna move on from there. I really loved how we can take anything that we have in our closet and flip it to make it something editorial. So I loved when he started talking about the sweatpants. We all have sweatpants. And I love how he told us that we can take a pair of sweatpants, a t-shirt, and make it dope. So like the little things like that I like from that, like for my ladies out there, you could take a pair of sweats and instead of doing a sneaker, you can do a boot, you can do a heel and still keep your top and then add an accessory to it. And you've created a whole new look. One thing that I do, and this is actually a secret, and I don't know why I'm telling y'all online, but one thing that I do, I take every outfit. So if I have, like, example, this white t-shirt, I can make 5 outfits out of this white t-shirt. I can throw a jacket on top of it. I can do a cardigan. I can, if I want to do a jean, if I want to do a sneaker, if I want to do a dress shoe. So you can take one thing that you have and make at least 10 outfits out of it. And so in his book that we talked about on the show, he has all of those tips and tricks for patterns, colors, even for your size. I think we also have to learn as a people to dress for our body size. He talks about all of that in the book, and just his level of knowledge and his level of wisdom in the fashion world is phenomenal. So I am honored that we had a chance to talk with him and enjoy the journey. If you don't have his book, go to Fifth and Howard, go to Amazon, make sure you get the book. Also, he had the devotional that we talked about, the 30 Days of Wisdom, that is also available on Amazon. You can go and grab that as well. He has a lot of great tools that not just help you physically, but they help you spiritually as well. So I hope you enjoyed that episode with Bryant Stokes. This is a heavy one. We are about to go back and watch Ime's episode from season 1. Our intuition is always speaking to us. And if we choose to ignore that, we end up back in these situations, back in these cycles. And baby, I've determined that I'm going to be a generational curse breaker.
As you should.
In this generation, over my life and my family.
As you should.
And it's not easy because sometimes that means you have to be the first to break the patterns.
So, but when you're the, and let me push you here. When you're the first, you are now the blueprint.
Woo!
You are now the blueprint. So what happens when you're the blueprint?
You don't have a reference.
You don't have a reference.
Woo!
You don't have a reference. So it's harder for you when you the blueprint. You don't got no reference. There's nobody you can call on but God.
But God. Nobody.
Ain't nobody you can call. You know how many times? You know how many times I had to be, dang, well, who can I call on? Who can I call on to help me with this? Who can I call on to try to figure this out? I get right in the prayer closet for about 2 hours. And I gotta figure it out. And you know what God does? God allows people to come into my life to give me that confirmation of, oh no, I heard you. And this is the opportunity that you're about to have. I heard you. You asked for this. You asked for a manager. Okay, so I'm about to bring a manager for you. You asked for this. Okay, I'm about to do this for you. I don't have the blueprint. I gotta go to God. But now, good part is, people could come to me because now I am the blueprint that is going to be able to guide you.
That's purpose right there.
It's hot.
That's how we end up there, baby.
It's hot.
Oh, baby, it's hot in
It's
here,
hot.
baby. That episode was that was a strong one. It was definitely an emotional one for those of us who are on the healing journey, for those of us who are overcoming rejection, abandonment, for those of us who are overcoming doubt, and we're doing spiritual work and we're healing from the inside out. That was a strong interview. I met Edna McKentz educating in a charter school here in Atlanta. And she had a business called The Soul of Me. That's how I was introduced to her. She had this brand, and it was all about making sure that your soul is whole. And when I first met Edna, I had just got to Atlanta. I was on a spiritual journey, releasing old limiting beliefs, old stagnant ideas. In my life, I was going through a healing journey. I was just coming out of depression and anxiety. Right before I met her, I was in a season of where I did not want to be here on earth anymore, and spent, I think I was in 3 mental institutions. So this episode was very emotional for me. I'm trying not to cry just thinking about it, because I remember sitting here. Let me go back. I remember we had a conversation. We were in an office, and this is where had a chance to encounter Edna. We were sitting in the office. She was talking to me about the soul of me. I remember I was just depressed. I was trying to overcome. I was just transitioning to Atlanta. And she had on a pink sweatshirt. I'll never forget this. Oh my God, I'm not gonna cry. Ime, if you watching this. But I remember she on a pink, no, I'm lying. I had a vision of her. She was talking about the soul of me, and I had a vision of her, and she was wearing a pink sweatshirt. And I told her, I said, I don't know why I'm envisioning this. I think she on black. Like, it was wild. And I was like, I have a vision of you in a pink sweatshirt, and you're going to be talking to people about your journey. You're going to be talking to people about the soul of me. It was a prophetic moment. I mean, it was a vision that came out of nowhere. She was encouraging me out of the season I was in, and I'm giving her prophetic words and predictions and things like that. Fast forward 3 years later, we didn't talk or anything like that. We would still, see each other on social media and all these other things. But then I came across her again. I said, "Yo, I'm starting a show. I want you to come and talk to us about the soul of me." And at the end of that episode that we had a chance to see, she did a recap. She said, "You remember about that vision you had about the pink sweatshirt? It was for you." Y'all remember on the episode how she on that pink sweatshirt? And it did not come back to me till I was sitting in this moment and I broke down. First time y'all had a thug breaking down on camera. Oh yes, I'm a thug. Just what that song, baby? Cause I'm a thug all day, every day, baby. Okay, never mind. Sorry. I've always wanted to be though. My cousin was a thug, and I just thought I was one. That's a conversation for another day. All right. But I was sitting here in the studio, and I think I broke down on camera because that episode taught me this, that when you go through a healing journey and you're doing the work, a lot of times God will give you that moment to let you know that you're on the right track. That moment for me let me know that I was on the right track with Enjoy the Journey, with my healing journey, with releasing old ideas, releasing toxic people out of my life. And it was a journey. It was a hard journey. And to this day, I am still learning. I'll never stop learning and overcoming. But when I look at where I am today, total difference from who I was back then. And so one thing that I love about Ime is her fire. She just brought the fire. She brought the emotion. She brought so much energy that it's just so undeniable that I know you guys have felt. And I was reading through your comments right before we were starting. I'm trying not to cry. I was reading through your comments and just seeing how you guys are also on the healing journey and how you guys are still overcoming the depression and the anxiety. And I want to stop and encourage you that if you are dealing with a heavy season, if you're dealing with a stagnant season, I want to tell you right now that clarity is coming to you like never before, where you felt like you were blocked and you felt like you were stagnant and you felt like nothing is turning around for me. I came to decree and declare over you today that season is shifting for you. That where you were once in delay, you're going to be accelerated like that. You're going to be shot forward. That's what happened for Ime. And since that episode, she's now released a book. She's now traveling and she's speaking on news stations and doing motivational speaking. But it came from healing the inner me. That was such a powerful revelation that she gave us here on Enjoy the Journey, is that once you heal that inner you, the glow will then flow outward, and then you will be able to overcome any challenge, any depression, any setback. So again, I wanted to encourage you guys that delay is not denial. I hope y'all enjoyed the episode with Ime. I'm still trying to get myself together. It was a fun episode too. Our producer, Dre Manning, I love him. That's my brother. But I was teasing him because I know y'all saw that lock sitting there like this. Literally like this. And so I was in my head like, Dre, like, didn't nobody tell me that my lock was sitting up there? But I thank y'all for ignoring the lock, because it seemed like y'all enjoyed that episode. So thank you, Ime. All right. To all the creatives, the entrepreneurs, the business owners, this next episode we're going to recap was with Victoria Wharton, aka My Boss Culture. Woo! This is one of them episodes you got to get your pen and paper out, take notes, and actually apply what you learned. And one thing that I love about Enjoy the Journey is that we have such a wide range of guests. And the reason we do that here at Enjoy the Journey is because we want to give you, the viewers and the subscribers, we want to give you a well-rounded show. So we don't just want to focus on one thing, but everything that encompasses the creatives, the entrepreneur, and the community leader. We don't just need spiritual encouragement, but we also need the practical encouragement. We need to know how to get our business in place. We need to know how to get these LLCs right, get these trademarks right. So let's go and let's watch this snippet with Victoria Wharton.
With me, when I started, I couldn't afford a $5,000 coach.
Yeah.
I didn't know that certain places like SCORE existed.
Mm-hmm.
SCORE is a free resource center in almost every state
Yeah.
that provides free coaching. But there's also a limit to the amount of information that they give you.
Right.
So being in that arena of not knowing and then just struggling through from 2010 to 2017 was when I was like, you know what, this has got to be better. And then from 2017 to 2019 was when, God was preparing me a whole nother different way, not even knowing that the pandemic was about to take place. And so during the pandemic, I didn't just clean houses, but I was also an answer for resources to provide disinfectant spray and gloves and masks and all these other things. But I didn't think that there was more to my cleaning business. I thought it was just cleaning, but God opened a door for me to be a resource, to provide resources.
Thank you, Lord.
So sometimes we would just look at a process and say, well, this is it. And God is like, no, you just getting started. There is more.
Ooh.
And so in 2022, during that process, everybody was like, well, how you doing what you doing? And how you doing this? You know, because I was still traveling during that time.
Mm-hmm.
So 2022, God gave me the idea of the Boss Culture Network. You know, we're a boss, but this is also a culture. You have to get used to doing certain things. And I don't want you to learn to do this by yourself.
Yeah.
I want you to build a network. And in that network, and what he showed me was over the years, that's how I built my business to 6 figures, by using everybody else.
Wow.
Building relationship with other people.
Relationships.
You have to do that.
Yeah. How important? Oh Lord, this is because it is so true that your network is your net worth. One thing that Victoria taught us was about faith and finances. She gave us practical tools. So making sure that you have your paperwork right. She really honed in right there, talking about making sure that we have our paperwork right. Your LLC, your trademarking, your marketing, making sure that you're connecting with the right people, making sure that you have the right people on your team. There are so many different nuggets that she dug into. But one thing that I love about her is that she is a 6-figure business owner. She owns multiple businesses. She's located right in South Carolina, but she has such an online presence that she makes herself available to us, you the viewer, me. She makes herself available to give us tips and business ideas. So if you have business idea questions, if you need help with maybe your LLC, you need help with funding, you need help with um, sponsorships, if you need help with a website, if you need help with graphics, if you need help with anything to get your business off the ground, you definitely want to actually go back and watch the full episode. It's so many nuggets. Make sure you have your pen and paper, because again, this is one of those practical episodes where you have to sit and watch, but you have to take notes and then take those notes and apply them to your business. One thing that I am very passionate about is people walking in their purpose, whatever that purpose is that God has given you. A lot of you know that before Enjoy the Journey wasn't called Enjoy the Journey, it was actually called Walking in Your Purpose, from my book. So also shout out, if you don't have my book, you can still go to Amazon and get Enjoy the Journey by Devontae Lamont. It is the manual and the journal to purpose. So if you just go ahead and get the book, keep it for every episode. It's a journal in the back of the book. So you can actually journal each episode. You can write what you learned from each episode in the book. Go to Amazon and get that. But definitely, you want to take those notes and definitely apply them. Um, it's just so many things that I've learned, even from her and just from watching it myself, that it's just phenomenal. All right. So I hope you enjoyed that episode with Victoria. Thank you so much, My Boss Culture. And make sure you reach out at My Boss Culture if you have any business related questions. All right, here we go. Season 1. I mean, when I tell you episode to episode, one thing that I just really appreciate is how each episode has its own identity. And I thank all of you, the subscribers, for really jumping in, really watching, sharing the episodes. It means so much to me. All right, let's talk about the episode with Taylor Goodrich, who is the founder of Unveiling Purpose, which is a women's ministry where she helps women, community leaders, entrepreneurs, creatives. But one thing that I loved about the episode with Taylor is that she didn't just talk to us about Unveiling Purpose and what she does, but if you follow Taylor on social media, you see that she has amazing content, very quality content, and she talked to us about how to make our brands personal to us. She talks to us about how to make your identity strong through your content. So let's actually take a look and watch this episode with Taylor.
A dream to be something in front of a camera. I don't know why. Like, I'm just, being a theater kid, you understand? Being a theater kid, like, you kind of have this gravitation towards the camera and being in front of the camera. But then it's like, I can actually not just like make content, but I can make content that actually helps people. And I can make content that inspires people. I can make content that encourages people. And not only am I doing that, I know that God is using my voice. Something new that God had me discover is like, okay, Taylor, like you've been doing the encouragement, but like you also have a prophetic voice. Like you also need to prophesy. You also need to speak the word of the Lord into these women who are watching you. And so for those who are really just starting off, and they're trying to, I want to be a testament to those people too, who are just starting off. They don't have anything, but they have a cell phone, right? So like, even with your cell phone, you can do a lot with what you have. You can use what's in your hand. Like you don't have to wait.
In your hand.
Use what's in your hand.
Wow.
You don't have to wait till you get to a studio. Like, you don't have to wait till you have all the stuff in a row and all your ducks in a row to start. Like you can use what's in your hand, and it can still be positive and make a big impact.
That is incredible, because I think so many times, you know, in the creative space or as content creators, influencers, we think that we have to, oh, I need this to start this, or I need this to start this dream.
Yes.
All you need is some faith, and you need some action behind it, and you are living proof of that. I really enjoyed that one. Taylor's just a beautiful spirit, just a beautiful soul. Shout out to Taylor Goodrich. Just a woman of integrity, a woman of class, such a heart of gold. But one of the things that I loved about her, I think the biggest takeaway for me with Taylor was that you can use what is in your hand. You don't have to wait for this grand old situation to start creating. If you have a cell phone, you have more than enough to start building and start creating your content. And so she talked to us about not waiting for your moment, but creating your moment. Not waiting for the stage, but creating your own stage. Not waiting for somebody to put you on a platform, but creating your own platform. That was so strong to me, because I think there are so many times as business owners, community leaders, entrepreneurs, where we're waiting on the next connection. You're waiting on the next person, the next platform, the next connection. And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. All those things are good. You can network, you can all that till you blue in the face. But ultimately, your brand comes from the inner you. It goes back to that episode we talked about with Ime. It is about the inner you. And once you get that strength to know that you are enough and that everything you need is within you, woo! Type that in the chat. Everything I need is within me. Woo! Everything I need is within me. I see you in the chat. I see it. Yeah, I see that. Everything I need is within me. Keep that coming. Keep it coming, y'all, because it is so true. I think a lot of times we wait for somebody to hand us something when everything you need is within you. I always go back to me, because I share my journey openly with y'all. I didn't wait for no network to put me on to start enjoying the journey. We got some great networks and partnerships that probably will come in later seasons to come. But I didn't I didn't know what I was doing. I sat down in front of the camera and started talking. Even before I got here to Spark Social, I was doing videos in my car. I was doing videos at the Starbucks encouraging y'all, okay? I didn't wait till I got in the studio to get my message across. Everything you need is within you. I am so passionate about that, because I used to be that person who I need this, I need rub shoulders with this person. I'm at the point now, I ain't kissing nobody's ass. I'm creating a lane and you step into my platform. And I think when you get that attitude, you're not sitting down waiting on the next person to put you on. Now I'm putting my damn self on, and then you're gonna catch on, and then the price is gonna go up by the time you get to me. Price is up. But that goes back to what you was talking about, ownership. How you have to take ownership of your brand, take ownership of your content. Such a strong conversation. If you didn't watch the full episode with Taylor Goodrich, go back and watch it, because it's going to empower you. I felt so empowered after talking to Taylor to start my own lane. So those of you who have a vision, that have a dream, that have a goal in mind, Taylor's episode reminds you that everything that you need is within you. I am super excited to recap this next episode. We interview Marquise MJ Hill. Oh my God. What an amazing time. For those of y'all who don't know Marquise, he is a 19-year-old. I think he just turned 20. He out the teens now. He think he grown because he at 2-0. But we talked to a 19-year-old entrepreneur with the company Love Yourself. He started his own brand right here in the city of Atlanta. And Love Yourself is literally making waves all across the country. What started as just a brand from a teenager trying to get himself out there, he has now built Love Yourself to go and to speak to schools, to go and mentor. He's traveling the country. I think I just saw him in Nebraska. Go ahead, brother. Go on and speak to Nebraska. Go, But shout out to MJ Hill. We are about to jump straight into his episode right now. You said it didn't come natural for you.
Yeah.
Like, was there anything that you had to do, whether it be spiritual or practical, that you had to do to become it? You said I had these first couple opportunities, and I kind of bombed it. But again, we see you now, and that is still hard to believe. So what was the process of becoming it?
The process of becoming it was repetition. That's really what it looked like. And I wish I could give people a magic trick to just become a great speaker. But the only thing I can tell people is if you want to become good at something, you got to show up and do it every day.
Every day.
It's not because I'm special or because I can articulate myself well. This is a whole bunch of reps time and time again until I couldn't get it wrong. And I still mess up now. But what I say to people if they ask me, how did you become confident? How did you get better with speaking, with presenting? My biggest thing is repetition. You have to do the simple work. And I think sometimes, at least for me, early in my journey, that's what I skipped over. I looked at Trent, I looked at Inky, I looked at Eric, I looked at Les Brown, and I'm like, I want to be that.
Yeah.
But I
could
skipped
just jump into skipping the process.
But I skipped over the process. I skipped over all of the simple things.
That's good. I hope y'all love that episode with MJ. I love every episode of Enjoy the Journey, but I think the reason I believe that MJ's message was so important is because he talked to us about how at 19 years old, he was able to be a blueprint for so many of us. Those of us who are like millennials, older and all that, we grew up with the technology, but like Gen Z, they was literally raised and brought up on the tech. So one thing I love about MJ is I think with his mindset and being a part of a different age bracket is that he built a blueprint for young people all over the world. He built a blueprint as a content creator and a business owner. I think he started, I forgot what the age he said he started, go back and watch, but in his teens, and now has one of the biggest brands out there. And so this one, I want to encourage all of my young people. Y'all know I love young people. I taught fine arts in high school. So I have a big love for teenagers, high school, especially high school creatives. That is one of my top 5 things that I want to really make some great strides with in the world. But I want to encourage my young people out there, to my teens, Gen Z, Gen Alpha. Y'all are one of the most creative generations out there. Y'all are one of the most brilliant generations. You are one of the only generations who have been able to go through adversities, even with pandemics and things like that, and still be able. One thing that I say is that the generation coming up now, we can say whatever we want to about them, but they're one of the most resilient generations. And so you get a young man like MJ Hill, who is a Black young man speaking to his community and bringing that community up. So now one thing that I love about that, he is taking this whole next generation and helping them build content, build platforms. He is now a motivational speaker. I look at, since he recorded on Enjoy the Journey, I mean, he has been out grinding. I'm in traveling the world, motivating young people to live their dreams, teaching them how to build their own plans, build their own blueprints, you know, because if you think about it, even in this day and time, in this day and time, you know, young people have many different arenas they can go down. And I always encourage you, for my young people out there, if you are in a space where you're at that crossroads, where it's like, well, especially like those of you who are like high school seniors, I think we have a nice percentage of high schoolers that watch. So shout out to y'all. The high schoolers at the school I was at, they were like, yeah, we watch Enjoy the Journey. I'm like, excuse me? Why are you watching Enjoy the Journey? But y'all particularly told me that y'all loved his episode. And so, MJ, I want to tell you, you're impacting kids all over the world. But one thing that I want to tell y'all who are at a crossroad, find out what your lane is, whatever it is that you want to do. Does it require you to go to school to further get a certificate, a diploma, a college degree? Is it something that you can, you know, get some training on? Is it something that you can build a business from? Is it someone I can connect with, like a Victoria Warden or an MJ Hill, to help me build my blueprint? It's going to be tailor-made to who you are. But the biggest message that MJ taught us is that no matter how old you are, how young you are, you can accomplish your dreams, and you will be the blueprint. He had nothing. He was doing videos as a kid, just hoping it would work. But the things that he was doing, just praying it's gonna work, just posting content, hoping somebody would see it. Now, fast forward to years later, now that he's a older teenager / adult now, he is now having a breakthrough on social media. One of the greatest content creators that we have right now, in my opinion. So shout out to MJ Hill. He is doing some amazing things in the community. If you are a school, if you are an educator, he also has a program where he is now coming to you. If you have a convocation, if you have opportunities and you need a speaker to come. I know a lot of school districts, when they do back to school, they have a speaker come in to encourage and rally. He's been doing that even with teachers and teams and things like that. His brand has expanded from content, blueprint, execute. Now he's traveling it, spreading all over the world. I'm gonna go ahead and say it on camera. I believe that by the time MJ Hill is 30, and this is 2025, so in 10 years when y'all watch this episode, I prophesy that MJ Hill, you will be successful. You will be a 6-figure earner. I believe that your business is going to boom. And because you brought your gift here to enjoy the journey, I speak Godspeed success to you. We're already seeing the fruit of MJ. But I promise y'all gonna see some big things coming from him. So shout out, go back and watch the full episode. There's so many things that we can touch in there that talk about his journey and personal that I was just impressed with. So go back and check out the full episode of MJ Hill. Great episode. All right, fam. So we also had the opportunity to speak with Evan Brown, AKA Coach Ev. He came here to the Enjoy the Journey studio. He talked with us about his journey, about different things that he's done in the community, different projects that he has worked on. And it was such an honor and a pleasure speaking with him. So we're gonna go back and recap his episode, and I'll be right back.
But one thing that I recognized in that short amount of time is that, because I was servicing predominantly Black people, I recognized that we are not lacking in the area of creativity or desire, and sometimes even skill. We don't have enough information to support it. I say this thing where if you don't understand or learn your industry, your dream will become a drain. And it's like that thing that could have transformed, changed your life financially from a joy perspective, now be the thing that drains you the most, simply because you don't know enough about your industry, your lane, your endeavor. And so kind of shifting into that space, I also recognize that, you know, my people are passionate. They're not always willing to sit down and learn. But that means that if I'm going to be the conduit or the bridge or the middleman to get you from here to there, I'm going to learn all I can so that I can at least share with you these things. So at some point you'll say, I've heard this before, you know, and so that's me. You know, I believe that people fail because they don't know enough
What's
information.
that scripture? We perish because of the
There it
lack
is.
of knowledge.
There it is. And I think that if we took more time to formally learn, so I'm an advocate for formal education, our industries or our passions or whatever that thing may be, I think we will create more sustainable and scalable business ventures instead of sometimes like, you know, the mom and pop, not necessarily the mom and pop shop, but the mom and pop concept. Where it's kind of like, okay, I'm doing this, but then mom and pop shops lasted 30, 40 years in the community. We have business owners that don't even make it past the first 3 years, not realizing that the first 3 years you're going to be in the black because you're learning, you're figuring this out. You have no idea what the market trends like because this is your first year in the market.
Right.
You know, things like that. So,
So speaking of formal education, you told us earlier that you went to Alabama A&M.
Yes, I did.
Right? So what did you go to school for?
I got a degree in business management.
Nice.
Ironically enough, in my last, because I stayed 5 years.
Nice.
So I'm a fun person. But that last year was a lot of fun. I dabbled in computer science.
Why 5?
Well, honestly, I stayed that 5th year primarily because I got in a co-op with NASA.
Oh, dope.
Right. Like I was actually a payload engineer. I was looking at space every single day, and I thought that that was worth me delaying graduation because I had nothing officially lined up, but I knew it was going to be a realm of opportunity that I would never be able to take back. Like, you know, how many black people do you know can say, I worked at NASA?
Nobody.
You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, like shortly after that, Hidden Figures came out, so we saw our pivotal roles and things going up. It's kind of like I was so honored that I was able to talk my way into that co-op program. And then even though I'm not in aerospace anymore, have no interest in going back to it, that was a proud moment of mine.
Absolutely.
And to me, I said to myself, now at 34, I'm so glad I made the decision to stay because I gained valuable insight into a workforce that I now utilize every single day.
Wow. OMG, y'all. I hope you enjoyed the conversation with Coach Ev. I think there were so many, one thing, I'm gonna say this real quick. One thing that I did enjoy the Journey was seeing the men, I know this sounds so crazy, but seeing the men creatives and the women creatives and seeing how they have similar journeys. But also seeing how men and women creatives have different challenges on their journey. So I think that was one of the biggest things I learned from his. But another thing that I really enjoyed about Evan's episode was don't let your dream drain you. Evan, I give it to you on that one, brother. Don't let your dreams drain you. He talked about how it's easy to fall into pits, how it's easy to give up, how it's easy to want to throw in the towel as a creative. But when you are strong, you are tenacious, and you are courageous, and you get back up, it shows not only your inner strength, but your commitment and your dedication to your craft. So when he talked about not letting the dream drain you, he told us about how to balance ourselves, how to have self-care, how to know when a season is up. Now that was a very strong point from his, because sometimes you're doing a thing and it's for a season, but when that season is up, what's next? You know, and so I think a lot of us as creatives, we get stuck in that place where we have a dream, or maybe you had a business idea and it failed, you know, and you just jump into a slump and you're like, oh, okay, well, it didn't work, and so now you go to plan B, C, D, F, G, when if we just keep refining A and then find a different way to present it. So many things, y'all have to go back and rewatch that episode, but the not letting the dream drain you. I have been there where you invest so much time into something where you begin to start to feel discouraged because you don't know if it's working. And so he taught us how to know that when you are who you are, you put effort into what you do, you overcome, you'll be all right. And so he talked to us about the different lanes with the coaching that he's done and things that he has seen. And so I'm coming just as a coach to you right now that whatever you are going through on your journey, do not allow the hardship, the discouragement, do not allow the tiredness, the exhaustion to drain you. Find ways to recoup your energy, creatives. find a way to make time for you. It's gonna look different for all of us. Sometimes it may just be shutting your phone off, going to sleep. It may be I'm gonna go take a walk. It might mean well, we don't promote, all right, vices. Whatever your vices, we don't promote it, but all right. We skipping that for another subject. Creatives. But find ways, and it could be a hobby. It could be, I'm learning that I'm loving to like exercise. Like I've even on my weight loss journey, I never really enjoy exercise. That's a whole nother conversation. But I'm learning to shift my energy when I get my body moving. It really, gets me going and shifts me, and then it gives me more energy to come back to work and to come go and record again and come and do another episode. Coffee. I know that sounds crazy, but I love Starbucks. So a lot of times as a creative, I'm like, let me just go Starbucks and just sit. So thank you to Evan for letting us know that as a creative, we have to care for ourselves. We have to put ourselves in positions to win. And we have to ultimately make sure that we are okay to then impact the world. So I hope you enjoyed that episode with Coach Ev. All right, family. We are going to recap the episode with Zuri Pryor Graves, who is an intimacy coordinator and sex therapist. Oh my God, the episode with Zuri is so amazing. So Zuri is an intimacy coordinator. So we're gonna look into the snippet of that episode and talk about it. But one thing I love about Zuri, she has done so many different films. She works for HBO, Netflix, any major network and film, she is the intimacy coordinator. So what that is she goes into these scenes with directors and actors, and she helps them coordinate intimacy scenes. So we're gonna talk about her job, what she does, and the things us as creatives can learn from an intimacy coordinator and a sex therapist. Let's jump into it.
If these people are hired to do a very specific scene and they're like a day player, they're not established. They're not like, maybe if it's a movie, they're not really in any other part of the movie. If it's a show, they're not really a major role. I see those people get recast a lot but that has to do with casting either not being honest with them about the full extent of what the ask is and just being like a casting call that says, this role may or may not include some form of nudity or simulated sex. And they're like, sure. They get the role, they get the full script, and they're like, I didn't agree to this. And that's their right.
Yeah.
But it's also the right of the production to be like, okay, if you don't want to do that, then whatever. So I work with a lot of casting directors too to make sure that they're providing the appropriate language so people know explicitly, we need you to show up, you will be topless, we will see. Yes. And people are like, because people are like nude, and they're like, does nude include like a bathing suit? Or like, no, it's like, no, we're gonna see everything. Yeah.
I love that. And one thing that I love about what you do, not only do you make it safe, but you're also there for the performer or the actor in multiple ways, even from the contract standpoint. I think that is so beautiful. How you being a sex therapist as a profession?
Yes.
Are there some things that come up, or are there any okay, here's how I can put it. With you being a sex therapist, do you see other relationship issues from, like, let's say if I'm in a relationship and I'm married, but I'm called to act this sex scene with XYZ, does it ever become an issue with an actor's partner or with a husband or wife situation? Is that a thing?
Enough for me. I'm writing a book on intimacy coordinating and how to be an intimacy coordinator, what to do. Enough for there to be an entire section on it because I've run into it so many times. There are all different kind of relational dynamics that come up, whether it be you're on set with your partner. That happens a lot where people are actually, it's especially in these productions where, we've seen them, Deliver Us from Eva, all these 90s movies, all of them are friends. Yeah. A lot of them have dated, all that I'm just giving that as an example where these people get hired for the same movies, the same things over and over and over. All the folks at Tyler Perry, like all these different, almost like acting troupes that they end up becoming. There's a lot of interconnectedness in those groups. So navigating people on set with their own partners, people on set with former partners, people on set who have partners who don't know anything about this world, and they have this really outside perspective, and they're uncomfortable with their partners participating in these things. There are all kinds of, and I've also seen people in relationships in the show, they're also in a relationship, and having to make that separation between what that relationship is and those relationship dynamics to what is real life, and actually having to having even more personal conversations about their intimacy.
So you mean like the two actors like end up like, oh, like you intimacy coordinating, but they actually like liking each other? No.
Well, like I'm saying, like married.
Okay.
Like they could be like married in real life. So making sure that the intimacy that we create on screen doesn't mimic the intimacy that they have in real life, so they can maintain those boundaries in their relationship.
Wow.
From their characters to their real life.
It's getting hot in here, so keep on all your clothes. That episode with Zuri is spicy. Spicy. I love it. I think Zuri's was a fun episode because who doesn't like talking about sex? You talk about sex and people go wild. I'm gonna go ahead. No, right. I was gonna call y'all men out watching because I know y'all like watching Zuri's episode. She's just beautiful. But outside of her just being a beautiful woman, she is a beautiful human being inside and out. She is strong and she is courageous. And first of all, let's talk about it. I didn't even know there was such a thing called an intimacy coordinator. So, we all watch movies we all see a sex scene in a movie. And, I was just thinking like, oh, well, they ain't really doing it, like doing it. But, our minds be playing with us like, oh, okay, Taraji was getting, but I didn't know that there was a whole art to how those scenes come about, that there's a whole strategy to how those scenes even depict sex scenes. So she talked to us about how she even found out what an intimacy coordinator was, how she got plugged into the industry from being a sex therapist and taking sex therapy onto film sets. And so I just thought that was amazing, especially in this day and age where a lot of people may have been mishandled or could have been abused in any type of way on a film set, on any type of set where intimacy is involved. I love that we now have a position in the creative world that keeps artists safe. I think that was the biggest thing that I learned from her episode, is that artist safety matters. Artist safety matters. Type that in the chat. Artist safety matters. And so we learned about that even if you're not comfortable and you're an actor and you're not comfortable with a certain sex scene or intimacy scene or whatever, there are ways to tell the story. There are ways, and I love how she talked about all the different, she was like, I can give them a director 10 different ways to create a sex scene. Maybe the woman don't want to be choked. I can still tell the story 30 different ways without her being choked. And so I just loved how we know that we are protected because of people like Zuri in the industry, who is all on these sets and helping us. And the thing I also love about it is how she talked about how she was a sex therapist first. So we end up talking during that interview about what does that look like as a therapist as opposed to being on set. And we learned, one thing I didn't know is how, and it makes sense when you think about it, but how the mental capacity to do some of those things. Because what if you're married in a relationship? What if you were sexually abused as a child? What if you're a homosexual? What if you like girls, you like boys? And what does that now look like that I have to portray this character who has to do these certain intimacy scenes? And so one thing that I shout out to the film industry, and especially to Zuri, is having someone to do that therapy on set that can talk with you, to learn what your triggers are, to learn how to best keep you safe while doing your creative work, how to make sure that you are comfortable and make sure that you're not being triggered. That is so huge. And so I think that the industry has come a long way. Because I can't say that I've always known that position to be available to creatives and directors, but shout out to Zuri. And also, another thing I loved about Zuri's episode is how when we talked about, sex and a lot of things that come with it and that people learn about themselves from intimacy. How sometimes some of those ugly layers can be pulled out. And it was just a strong episode, y'all. Let's talk about sex. So go watch in full that episode. It's just so strong. And shout out to Zuri Pryor, who is an amazing industry figure. We honor you for coming to enjoy the journey in season 1. We are a baby, and someone of her caliber coming to enjoy the journey is just so phenomenal. So thank you, Zuri. All right, fam. I hope you have enjoyed the season 1 recap of Enjoy the Journey. I want to say thank you again for all of your support, all of your likes, your shares, your comments, your subscribes. I am committed to giving you quality. I am committed to giving you strong conversations to help you on your journey. Season 2 is about to be out real quick, y'all. So make sure you are following Enjoy the Journey show on Instagram, that you are subscribed to our YouTube at Enjoy the Journey show. And also, if you have some questions, maybe you potentially would like to be a guest, or if you have some ideas for an episode, feel free to send an email to enjoythejourneyshow@gmail.com. Also, our sponsors, and if you would like to partner and collab, enjoythejourneyshow@gmail.com. All right, y'all. I'm excited. I will see y'all in season 2. Hey.